Today is August 15th. It's the 228th day of the year, and this is the On This Day podcast. Born on this day in 1912, America's first celebrity chef, Julia Child. She is born Julia McWilliams in Pasadena, California. Julia is a singularly unique individual, almost predestined for celebrity. She has an odd yet melodic voice and speaks with an indistinguishable accent. She's 6 foot 2 inches tall, and she has a very bold, domineering personality that at the same time is warm and welcoming. Julia graduates from Smith College with an English degree and works as a copywriter in advertising. During World War II, she tries to enlist in the Women's Army Corps, but she's rejected for being too tall. So she joins the OSS, the wartime precursor to the CIA, and ends up working directly under General Bill Donovan as a top-secret research assistant. One of her assignments is to assist in solving the problem of underwater explosives being accidentally detonated by sharks. She literally cooks up a shark repellent that is still used by the Navy to this day. While in the OSS, she meets Paul Child, a fellow OSS member 10 years her senior. After the war, they get married and move to Paris, where he is assigned duties as a foreign service officer. Julia attends Le Cordon Bleu, the world-famous cooking school in Paris. There, she meets Simone Beck and Louisette Bertholle, who are writing a French cookbook for Americans. They bring Julia in on the project, and in 1951, the three of them also begin teaching cooking out of Julia's Paris apartment, calling their school L'École des Trois Gourmands, the School of the Three Food Lovers. It takes the three food lovers 10 years to finish their cookbook and find a publisher. But when they do, their 1961 book, Mastering the Art of French Cooking, becomes a bestseller. That same year, 1961, Paul and Julia return to America and move into a home on Irving Street in Cambridge, Massachusetts. And one of the first things they do is remodel the kitchen. Julia knows exactly how she wants it organized, and Paul designs the kitchen to her specifications. There are 3 pantries, a large stove that can fit 2 25-pound turkeys, with the oils and vinegars stored nearby. It has an ice maker, pegboard walls on which she hangs all of her iconic copper pots and pans, a variety of whisks, stock pots, 800 knives, and maple countertops that are built 2 inches higher than normal to accommodate Julia's taller-than-normal height. She cooks for family and for friends in the kitchen. She cooks for herself. She cooks in the kitchen for professional colleagues. And in the 1990s, 3 of her TV series are filmed right there in her own kitchen on Irving Street. Julia Child's first TV series, The French Chef, debuts on the Boston Public Broadcasting Station WGBH in 1963. And like her cookbook, the show is an instant hit. The series runs nationally for 10 years. On screen, Julia Child is very physical and aggressive with her cooking. Yet she's casual and relaxed as she chats her way through each recipe, laughing off errors and mistakes and faux pas. She teaches American viewers that food should be enjoyed. It is one of the simplest and nicest pleasures in life, she says. And in Julia's kitchen, there's no dish that does not pair well with a delicious wine. Even a Danish goes well with a nice champagne. She's not afraid to use a liberal amount of butter or cream. If you're afraid of butter, she says, use cream. Julia Child hosts a dozen TV series over the span of nearly 4 decades. She writes 17 cookbooks and a memoir of her life in France that's released posthumously. She becomes not only a household name synonymous with cooking, but the quintessential chef in American culture. Julia's husband, Paul, passes away in 1994. In 2001, she leaves Massachusetts and moves back to California. When she moves out of her home in Cambridge, she gives her home to her alma mater, Smith College, and she donates her kitchen to the Smithsonian Institution. Her kitchen that for 7 years is the set of her wildly popular TV series, and for 40 years, her personal culinary laboratory and the gathering place for her family. You can visit Julia Child's kitchen next time you're in Washington, D.C. It's located on the ground floor of the Smithsonian's National Museum of American History. That's the big building on the mall. Julia Child, born on this day in 1912, is the recipient of the French Legion of Honor and the U.S. Presidential Medal of Freedom. In August of 2004, she has a bowl of French onion soup and then passes away shortly thereafter, 2 days before her 92nd birthday. That's exactly how I want to go.
I'm making a lovely, large, lacy, sugary dessert pancake. And when we cook it, slather it with orange butter and flame it in liqueur and brandy. It's going to turn into one of the most famous French desserts, crêpe Suzette. We're doing it today on The French Chef.
There are 138 days left in the year. On This Day is produced by me, Dave Schultz. Thank you very much for listening today. I appreciate that. Thank you for sharing the show. I really appreciate that. And thanks for leaving reviews on iTunes and other podcatchers and all that kind of stuff. Also born on this day in 1978, Carrie Walsh Jennings, Olympic champion and beach volleyball player extraordinaire, crushing it in Rio. So if you're still listening.
And then we've ended with crêpe Suzette, probably the most famous of all French desserts. And as you've seen, you can prepare your crepe batter and make your crepes way ahead of time. You can even freeze them. You can get everything done ahead, and the assembly for a really elegant meal is not very difficult. And so that is all for this time on The French Chef. This is Julia Child. Bon appétit.
Talk to you tomorrow.